Yes, there is such a thing as MLM cult culture. Want to completely avoid that and actually build a profitable business from day one? Watch this. Hey, I'm Valerie Walton, one of two co founders here inside the Profitpreneur. And if you followed our story over these past 5 years, you know that my husband and I have been able to use MLM, use network marketing to go from zero to 5 figures a month in just 5 months during the pandemic. So we know that it can be done. You can actually build a business where it's profitable, it's sustainable, and you keep your reputation intact. So I wanted to talk about this today because here's the deal. If you ever notice how some MLM teams feel more like a cult than a company, right? The love bombing, the fake friendships, the if you miss this call, you're not serious about your future, you lazy, and all those guilt trips. Yeah, let's talk about that. And more importantly, let's talk about how to build a business that doesn't trap people, but actually sets them free.
I'm Sunny, and this is my wife Valerie. And for years now, we've been earning commissions online over and over and over again. And here's some actual commission checks from the last company: 535 in February, 2,900 in March, 4,300 in April, 10,000 in May, 11,000 in June.
And let's also look at the year on the check. It was 2020, at a time where the pandemic hit and so many people were lost and afraid and losing money. I'm earning more and more money as time goes on.
Absolutely.
We went from Maryland to a 4-bedroom home in Las Vegas, all because of what we're able to do and what we're about to show you.
We are also going to share with you how we are able to personally recruit between 5 to 12 new people every single month into our network marketing business, and how we can help you earn commission checks and recruit more people into your business as well.
Since about 2016, Val has been earning affiliate commissions online over and over and over again. And from what I learned from her, I also started earning commission checks as well as direct payments online as well. Now, for the sake of time, we can't show you all the commission notifications, but here's just a few she's generated over the years. More commission notifications, over and over and over again. $100 commissions, $200 commissions. Here's one for $1,500. Here's one for $750, $300, $871. And it just goes on and on and on. And look at the dates. That's 5 enrollments in a month, 6 enrollments in a month. Look at all these enrollment notifications. New enrollment, new enrollment, new enrollment, more new enrollments. 7 enrollments in June, 5 enrollments in August, more enrollments, more enrollments.
So if you're ready to start earning real commission checks and recruit more people every month, plus score a free 3-day trip to Vegas on us,
Click below to start.
let's get comfortable. Child, I just came from the gym. We about to get comfy. So here's the reality. MLMs aren't inherently evil, but the culture that forms around some of them, straight up cult vibes. They use fear, right? You'll fail if you leave. They use control, dictating how you post, how you live, and even how you think about success. They use manipulation, right? Love bombing when you join, and then shaming you when you question anything. And worst of all, they create this bubble where if you're not hustling 24/7 for the company's dream, you start feeling like you don't belong. All right, so I'm going to share a little bit of my own personal story, okay? Mind you, I had said that we were able to build a business in a very short period of time. There were times before then where it just didn't feel like that. There were times after where sometimes it just didn't feel like that. One of the things about MLM cult culture is a big pet peeve of mine, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I'm gonna just share my story, and you can let me know if you relate. Share it in the comments, okay? Um, I had joined a company where I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was brand new to this, and that felt so weird for me because I've been an entrepreneur my entire life, my entire adult life. I started my first business when I was 12. You know what I'm saying? And then I got into high school, and so I didn't do my business anymore. It was a babysitting business. And then once I graduated high school, I knew right then and there, Even though I graduated with honors, even though I graduated from the university high school program, even though I graduated from that program with 2 years worth of college credits under my belt, I was willing to throw those college credits away because I did not want to go to college. I was like, hell no, I done had enough of school. Like, you're teaching the same stuff over and over again for this promise of a better life if I go to a higher education. And that's not really the case. The job market is always competitive, and sometimes there's times when it gets scarce, and I didn't want that. I didn't want to have someone hand me a job. I wanted to be able to create income the way I wanted to. And I knew that back then in 1998 when I graduated. Okay. So I went back into entrepreneurship. And when I did that, I had decided that I wanted to become a cosmetologist. I had been working in salons as an apprentice for a couple of years, and then I decided, you know what, I really do want to go to school for the knowledge, and that way I know for sure I'm going to pass my test because I would have had the experience plus the theory, the knowledge. So I did that, and ever since then, I had been in business for myself. I even owned my own salons and even co-owned a dance studio. So with all of that being said, you would think once I got into network marketing, it'd be a piece of cake for me, right? No. So what ended up happening was, I joined and I felt like I was in a job. They're telling me you have to come to these meetings, show up for these presentations on Tuesday and Thursday night, which means I had to drive. I had to spend my gas money to come out there. Then I had to pay. When we get to the hotel space, and if you're a member, if you're a part of the company, you had to pay. And if you brought a guest, they were for free. And the whole point was to do this presentation to get people to join, right? I never found anybody that wanted to come all the way out there for that, let alone then sit there in the presentation to join. So that didn't work for me. Then I had an upline who just met me. Somebody from my upline just met me, was like, oh, well, you're committed, right? You're going to bring in 5 people next time, aren't you? You're going to do, and I'm like, the hell? Like, what are y'all talking about? I don't want to build my business this way. I've never seen this before. Then I was taught about 3-way calls and stuff. And it's like, you have to get them on a call. Don't try to close people yourself. Even though I was the top salesperson when it came to working in the salon, I always sold the most retail. And it wasn't like this. It wasn't through no damn 3-ways. And what that reminded me of when I started hearing 3-way calls, it reminded me of going to the car dealership, which I hate. Tell me if you can relate. I hate going to the car dealership because of the traditional way that they have been doing things. You go there, some car salesman's like, hey, how's it going? What you looking for today? What you in the market for? All that. And then you tell them, look, I came here specifically for this car. This is what I want. You got it? Give it to me. Let's go. Right? Oh, let's take a look. Let's do a test drive. Let's this. Then they bring you back into the building and you sit down and they got to bring their manager. And it's like they can't do anything without this higher up person. And I was like, the hell? You a salesman, right? Sell me the damn car. What are you doing? It was a mess. And so I hated that. And then they sit there and they write these notes and they do the 4-square that they don't want us to know about. Right? So all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, I hate this way of selling. I hate this way of doing things. And I started to see that in network marketing. And then when I saw that they wanted you to go to all of these different events, at first I was excited until I went. And then I go there and it's everybody cheering and, oh yeah, party time, play the music. And yeah, rah, rah, the team is great. We're disrupting the industry. Every company says that, right? And then you had speakers go up and I'm thinking, oh, let me get out my notebook. I'm going to take down some notes on, their top strategies and all that. All I got was, oh, if I can do it, you can too, type of messages in these, from these speakers. And I'm like, I didn't have to drive all the way out here for this. I drove to Baltimore when I was living closer to DC. So it's like an hour drive for what? And then you got to pay for parking. What? Like, it was a mess. I hated it. I hated it. And it really turned me off to network marketing for a while. And then somebody introduced network marketing to me, a different company, and they introduced it to me in a different way till I didn't even realize that's what it was. And once I was in, then I had an upline that was trying to be very helpful. They were trying to, show me what to do. But again, they wanted to do those 3-way calls and stuff. And I'm just like, okay, so you want me to, create a relationship with someone and build trust and rapport with someone, only for me to now put them in front of a stranger that they don't know. And then I'm supposed to edify them so that, they can be puffed up and be important in this person's eyes. Says who? And then now this person, we got it 2 against 1, and they feel pressured, and we're going to act like that just ain't a thing. Okay, cool. And I've noticed that cults do that. Okay, I've got a couple of family members, distant, that are involved in what I believe to be a cult. They don't think it is. That's fine. But the way that they go about recruiting people for the kingdom is ridiculous to me. That's me. So I'm not even going to get into all of that. But I'm just saying, you'll notice that, the same way that you can legitimately bring somebody into something is the same way that people that are like con men, con artists are doing it. So what's the distinction? And it's things like this. It's how you make the person feel. If you're manipulating folks, you know what I'm saying? That's not good business. That's not how you want to live your life. That's crazy. And I really hated it. So I decided, you know what? Let me go back. Let me reverse engineer. I know what I want to do. I want to be able to help people, and I want to make money in the process of helping them. I know that I know how to do this already because I have always been great at sales. So what am I missing here? And what I realized was all I needed was the skills. The same skills that I had in selling before that I could also use again. What I needed to sharpen was my marketing skills. But in sales, you can't be good in sales if you are not good in communicating. So you have to learn how to be effective in how you communicate with people, which also includes not just talking, but listening. All right. So when I started to realize things like this, and we're going to go more in depth with all of that in a second. But when I started to realize this, I realized, oh my gosh, with skills, I can go anywhere and build anything. And this is with everything you could possibly earn a living with. Crazy, right? The fact that you can go to college, get a degree in something, and now that you have the skills, now that you have the knowledge, now all you got to do is go and apply that knowledge and apply it in order to create experience. And now you can go out and you can build anywhere because nobody can take those skills away from you. You've always got that, right? So if I wanted to become a surgeon, I go to med school, I get my license, I can practice medicine. Cool. Now I can go to any hospital. I don't have to go to the crazy hospital where everybody's like, no, you got to do it this way. And we got to cheer before we go into surgery. And we got like all this hype and this foolishness ain't got to be for me. The skills are the skills are the skills, and I have them, and I can go anywhere and I can use those skills. Well, it's no different in network marketing. Okay. Another example, basketball, right? Or any professional athlete can go to any team. The team isn't necessarily what the biggest deal is, because you can't even get on a team if you ain't got no damn skills, right? You got to have the skills for them to pay your bills and write you those multi-million-dollar contracts, right? So in order for you to even be good enough to be a professional, right, and be in the NBA, you need the skills first, right? The team part comes after. And you want to get on a team that trusts your knowledge and trusts that you know what you're doing. That makes it easier for all of y'all to work together. And that is one of the biggest things that I learned, and I started to apply that. So the next network marketing company I joined took off during the pandemic. because I started focusing my attention. I put my main focus on building skills. Okay, so let's go a little deeper into this, because ain't nobody trying to be part of no damn cult. Okay. The whole crazy, if you don't recruit 3 people this week, you're failing all of us, right? And then you feel bad. So here is the truth. The reason people get stuck in MLM cult culture is because they are never taught real business skills. You're taught to recruit, you're taught to hype, you're taught to repeat the script, but nobody teaches you how to actually market, how to sell with integrity, how to build a brand that is yours and not just the company's, right? And you know what else they don't teach you? How to create a safe, empowering environment for people to grow. And guess what? When you don't have those skills, the cult fills the gap with manipulation. Period. So, you ready to flip it? Because here are the skills that keep you out of the cult and in control of your business. Marketing, learning how to attract people without spamming or begging. Marketing is creating curiosity and not pushing desperation. So I like to describe it like this. Honestly, marketing and selling is no different from romantic relationships, okay? So I'm about to get a little, okay. I'm gonna get a little deep with this, but I want you to consider marketing like the foreplay and sales like the climax, okay? So it's really difficult to get someone to climax when they're not even in the mood yet, right? And so you can get a person in the mood, the better you know them, the better that you pay attention to them, the more that you learn of them, right? You start understanding what their urges are, what their needs are from you, and then you can start providing that to them. As you do, and they start to get in the mood, they're feeling it, right? They feeling the mood, they ready to get down, right? Now you can get into the act and you can climax. So that's how I look at marketing and sales. And look, it ain't failed me yet. So if you don't look at it that way, maybe it's time to shift your view. But yeah, it's really important that you focus on, hey, I can't just throw things out there at people. I can't just make offers. I can't just throw out pitches. And I certainly can't just use a bunch of hype, right? I can't go up to, let's say, a potential intimate partner and go up to them and say, hey, studies have shown that engaging in intercourse is a great thing to do because it helps to boost up it helps to lower your cortisol levels, okay? It helps to raise your dopamine. So why, like, let's do it then. They'd be like, so we doing this for science? It doesn't make any sense, right? So, you know, you can't just throw a bunch of facts out there to people. You can't just like throw links out at people, and you can't just be hyping it up. You know, hey, I am the best partner you'll ever have. So let's do it. Like people, that's not, no, that's not going to work. So it's really important to make sure that you understand how marketing works so you can do it right. And again, that requires learning the skill. Next, we have branding. Your face, your story, your message. So this is not just about a logo or a company name. People join you, not a brochure. So I know this part of things can get a little bit confusing because you may have started hearing that. You know, if you've been going through a little bit of struggles or challenges in your network marketing journey, then yeah, you'll hear people say, brand yourself, but what exactly does that mean? So I'm gonna give you a really great example of branding. Branding is simply who you say you are in alignment with how your audience sees you. Not how everybody sees you, because some people just hating, okay? So I'm talking about your actual target audience, the people that ideally you'd like to work with, sell to, and have on your team, okay? How are they seeing you? Does it match what you're telling them you are? So I know someone who says, you know, he describes himself one way. I'm this, I'm that. And then other people look at him like, no, you're not. It's an ex of mine. It's nobody that's in my circle now. But when you look at that, It's like, yeah. So if you can't even see like what you're presenting to people, then how can they trust whatever else that you want to show them? Because you're not even showing them you in a light where it matches for them. So that's very weird. So examples of that would be, Whole Foods was talking at one point. They were going through something because they were saying how great their groceries are, but for a lot of people, and how not only how great the groceries are, but like how affordable they are. And people were like, hell no, they not. This ain't Whole Foods. This is Whole Paycheck. And they started getting that reputation, and they had to do a lot of work and a lot of damage control because of that, and repair their reputation, which is hard to do. So don't allow your reputation to get damaged in the first place, and make sure that you're putting out a brand that is actually genuine, authentic, transparent, and honest. Okay, that's what we teach. And then an example of a good brand would be like Superman. Why not talk about Superman? Right? We all know, especially if you used to watch a TV show, good old George Reeves back in the day, right? He stands for truth, justice, and the American way, right? So we all know that about Superman. So that's why we always expect Superman to show up. His brand is the whole epitome of superhero-ness, right? And so that's what we expect. What do people expect of you? And do you show up as that? When it comes to the people that you're selling to, not everyone, all right? So the next thing is sales communication. Understanding conversations, emotional drivers, and listening more than you just want to go out and pitch. Sales doesn't convince and close, it serves and solves. Also, systems and automations. So look, if your business falls apart when you skip a Zoom call, you don't have a business, you have a hostage situation. Systems make your business work even when you're not glued to your phone. Community without control. Now this is big because you can lead people without guilt tripping them. You can build a supportive, safe culture where people feel seen and where results come from learning and not just from blind loyalty. So this is exactly why we built Profitpreneur. Sunny and I got sick of watching people jump from company to company, chasing hype, only to get burned by toxic cultures. So we built an environment that is skills first and never hype. Education over manipulation. A safe place where you can learn how to run your own business, whether that is network marketing, affiliate marketing, creating your own digital products, or starting your own digital service like coaching or consulting. We don't need cult tactics because we actually teach you how to succeed. And when people feel safe and equipped, guess what? They get results. So we're out of the MLM game, but it's not because we don't love it or don't believe in the industry anymore. And this is why I hope that you've caught this video at the right time for you. I know that cult culture can feel crazy. It makes you it really puts a bad taste in your mouth, and it makes you want to give up and quit. Okay. But I am encouraging you to, before you make that decision, to start looking at it from a different perspective. Because if you can detach yourself from the team and just focus on your skills and doing it your way where it feels more authentic, then I am quite sure that you can use that very business model, the same business model that helped us to have our very first self-made female millionaire in the United States. This was the same business model that did that. So that business model is still solid today. It's just that people added all this crap with it, and you stop, get out of here with that. And even for me, I got to say, I avoided the MLM cult culture when I came into one of the last companies we were in. We took off. Okay. So this is the company where we made 5 figures a month in just 5 months. Our upline was like, how the heck are y'all doing this? How do you know how to grow this fast? And we were just telling them it's the skills. What we do is we teach our team the skills, and we teach it to them before they join. We start teaching it before they even join. And they just really thought there was some secret behind it. No, it's got to be something else. And it was to the point that they were like, no, We want you to merge, the team you're building, merge it with our team. We're going to be in charge. And when we said no, we cool. We got it, right? When we said no, they decided to go tattletale to corporate. They decided to redirect how meetings were between us and corporate, and start keeping us out of the loop for things. And that is what caused us to leave that company. It wasn't the products or anything like that. It wasn't the pay. It was that we don't do business like that. If you can't do business with us in integrity, if you can't show us respect, if you can't be dignified in how you grow a business, then we want no parts of it, and we out. And so, yes, we walked away from 5 figures a month, but we went on to go and build multiple different ways of bringing in 5 figures a month. So it wasn't that big of a deal. We'll talk about that in another video, child. But yes, it just goes to show, yes, MLM cult culture is real. But here's the kicker. You don't have to get stuck in it. Because when you build with real skills, real systems, and real integrity, you don't just make money. You start building freedom. So if you're ready to take that path, Sunny and I have got resources for you linked in the description. So this goes from free quizzes to our Profitpreneur training, where you can grab whatever fits you best. And you know what? If this has helped you, of course, hit that like button, drop me a comment, and make sure you subscribe, because look, we are just getting started on tearing down this toxic business culture and showing you how to build something real that you can feel confident about and believe in. So we'll see you in the next video.